Hello students, welcome to this video lesson. Let's talk about simple past and past perfect. Talking about simple past is very easy, right? We can do it with different verbs. It's simple past. But what about past perfect? Past perfect is similar to present perfect, but we are be focused only in the past tenses. It's a nice combination among simple past and past perfect. Let's start with the next slide. Look at this picture. We have a famous person here. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was an Austrian musician and a composer. He lived from 1756 to 1791. He started composing at the age of 5 and wrote more than 600 pieces of music. He was only 35 years old when he died. Look at the highlighted words or verbs in blue. Lived, started, wrote, was, died are all in past simple. Okay? In different verbs, regular and irregular verbs, by the way. Okay, and later I will explain you with more details how do we differentiate among those verbs. Let's continue with this nice picture. Looks like a party, right? Okay, we are in simple past or past simple. Very often the past simple ends in ed, right? With regular verbs only, of course, not with irregular verbs. Okay, I work here as a DJ. Before that I worked in a department store. And let's look at this one. They invited us to their party, but we decided not to go. Okay, we have worked, invited, decided. Ed, right? Because those verbs are regular verbs. Okay, let's continue with the next slide. Over here we have very often the past simple ends in id. You know, as I explained to you, we have more examples. The teacher stopped us on our test to shut phones. It's important, right? Especially when you are taking a test, you don't have to handle your cell phone. Laura passed her exam because she studied very hard. Passed, studied, stopped, all of them finishes with ed. Okay, let's continue now. Wow, a wonderful picture over here about Wolfgang or Mozart, as usually we know him. The past simple doesn't end in ed, you know. If we talk about this example, Mozart wrote more than 600 pieces of music. Do you remember this verb? Write, wrote, right? Let's continue. We saw his portrait in the museum. So, it's the past of see. Don't forget, we are using only the simple past of the verbs. It is important. That's why it's highlighted or bolded in blue color. Let's continue now with the next slide. Over here we have a nice picture about a dog. I went to the cinema 3 times last week. Okay, the same is an irregular verb. Was, you know. Well, the next one we have also. It was cold, so I shut the window. Okay. We have the past of go and shut. It's the same, right? But the time tense is different in the second example. Let's continue with the next one. How about in questions and negative? In questions and negative sentences, we use did or didn't plus infinitive. What about infinitive? When I say infinitive, I am talking about the verbs in the base form of the verb, okay? Like enjoy, see, go, etc. I enjoyed the party a lot. Did you enjoy it? That is also simple past in question. Did is making the time, is pointing the time in the past, setting the time in the past. Okay, let's move to another example. How many people did they invite to the wedding? Okay, also we are using did to make it simple past question. Okay, how many people did they invite to the wedding? Very nice picture. Okay, very funny also. Okay, over here also we have I didn't buy anything because I didn't have any money. Poor guy. That's very sad. Did you go out? No, I didn't. Okay, as don't forget about that. If we are asking questions in the simple past or past simple, we only have to set the time in past using did or didn't. It depends if you are making questions in a positive way or negative way. Okay, don't forget about that. It doesn't matter if we are talking about regular or irregular verbs. Only if you write. Look at this, the next example. Was the weather good when you were waiting? Maybe not. But also we are asking with was or were. So, if you want to also use WH questions, it's possible. You can use a WH word in order to make a question. But it's not necessary to use did or didn't. Don't forget about that. Look at this nice. They weren't able to come because they were so busy. I wasn't in the city, so I didn't come again. It's a little different. This is, in the second example, is separated, right? I wasn't in the city. Okay, of course, the other one, we can also combine together, but it's a different sentence, by the way. Let's continue now. Look at this nice picture. Okay, now let's talk about how is the structure of past perfect. If we want to talk about past perfect, we only have to use had, past participle, and gone, seen, finished. Okay, the past participle. Okay, very easy. Had plus past participle. Don't forget about to review, to study the verb tenses. Okay, let's read a little bit about this one. Sarah and Paul went to the same party last week, but they didn't see each other. Paul left the party at 10:30 and Sarah arrived at 11 o'clock. Okay, poor Sarah. She couldn't meet Paul, right? Because Paul had gone home early. So when Sarah arrived at the party, Paul wasn't there. Okay, he had gone home. Let's analyze this example more. Okay, usually past perfect is said very simple. I had done, right? Or I have gone, I had seen, or whatever. The past perfect simple is had plus past participle, as I mentioned at the beginning. Sarah arrived at the party. That is past simple. Okay, very easy with ed, right? The other one, when Sarah arrived at the party, Paul had already gone. If you want to use already, just, it's possible. Okay, but very simple to do that. The important thing over here is had plus past participle, like had gone. If we analyze this, those sentences, we have two sentences over there. Okay, that I was mentioning to talk about a combination of past simple and past perfect. Usually, it's very common to talk about that. But if we talk about that, we always have two sentences. Okay, but remember that one action happened at the beginning. At first step, we have Paul was at the party. Paul had already gone home, but he was in the party. Okay, that's the first action. Then he left. But then we have another action. Sarah arrived at the party. She was late, maybe. Okay, and if we talk about this combination, the past perfect is always set in the first action. It doesn't matter the order of the sentences. Over here we have two sentences with two actions that simultaneously happened. Okay, that is important for you. Okay, Paul was at the party, but Paul had already gone home when Sarah arrived at the party. She was late. Okay, first and the second action. Don't forget about that. Well, the past perfect simple is had plus past participle as always. When we got home last night, we found out somebody had broken into the flat. Don't forget about that. Had and the past participle. Okay. Karen didn't come to the cinema with us. Her room had robbed. The same we have over here with had, and this is past perfect simple. Okay. Past perfect. Sorry. The past perfect simple is had past, as you remember, past participle. At first, I thought I'd done the right thing, but I soon realized that I made a big mistake. Okay, if we talk about those sentences, we have also the contraction of had, I'd. It doesn't mean other things. Sometimes it's confusing, but if you have a contraction with like this I'd, if there is the past participle, that means past perfect. It's easy to identify. The people sitting next to me on the plane were nervous. They hadn't flown before, or they never flown before. Okay, if you notice that sometimes looks like separated, not really. If we use never, already, or yet, or just, all of those things are just to emphasize a sentence, to mention that the action happened right now or a few minutes ago or things like that. But it's very easy. Maybe you experience like this. This guy is very shocked. Maybe it's his first time riding a plane, right? Okay, let's continue with the next example. But please, in order to finish, don't get confused with present perfect and past perfect, because we can compare over here. Look at this one. If we analyze a little bit about the present perfect, the action started somewhere in the past, but the action still continues. Okay, if we talk about past perfect, it's not the same. The action started in some point of the past, and it stays in the past, but now is a different time tense. Okay, that's why those are different, not the same. Look at this example. The house is dirty. They haven't cleaned it for weeks. Okay, that started in the past. They haven't cleaned it. It's still dirty. The house was dirty. They hadn't cleaned it for weeks. Okay, that happened in the past. That's past perfect. But probably now the house is clean, not like this. This picture could be set to the first example, to the present perfect. Okay, but specifically we are talking about the past perfect. That's it, my friends. Please don't forget to work with your homeworks. And have a nice day. Bye bye.